So welcome everybody to the 7.0 AP Preview for Star Wars The Old Republic Legacy of the Sith. We're going to take a look at all of the class choices and everything that we have for our advanced prototype spec, all the changes that are happening and the choices coming up. At first, we're going to start with our level 27 choice, just pretty much like every other class. They're going to get 3 choices in every single kind of level up choice that they have. We have Power Burst, Heat Zone, and Lingering Heat. You guys will see as we go through kind of the AP side of everything, there's some very good utilities that are going to be tough to choose from, some really good choices. So Power Burst, it lets your Energy Burst grant you Power Burst, which increases the damage of your next Flame Burst or Thermal Detonator by 5% per energy load consumed, stacks up to 4 times. So that's pretty much what we have in now. As Cellular's Cell Burst, same exact kind of thing. Extremely strong, nice burst damage. This is probably going to be the one that's mostly taken as far as PvP wise goes. It's just pretty much a continuation of what they already have currently on 6. Whatever we're at now, 6.4, 6.5. I don't even know, but since 6.0. The next one we have is Heat Zone. So Energy Burst can hit up to 3 additional targets within 5 meters of the primary target. This is really garbage. Not very high in power level. We're not really going to be doing anything like that. It doesn't make any sense. You're not an AoE spec. You're not trying to cleave people down. Sure, I guess you can argue that it is a lot of bursts, and it is a lot of damage with energy burst hitting everything, but within 5 meters is a relatively small area, and power burst is just better for single target damage. It's theoretically better in almost every single fight, even PvE and PvP wise, to do more single target damage than AoE. There are certain fights in PvE where AoE is better, so you could theoretically respec for those fights. But most bosses are single target, so not very good. The final choice we have at level 27 is Lingering Heat. Energy Burst applies an additional burn that deals a moderate amount of damage over 12 seconds. This is good if we're not trying to burst, if we're doing PvE things, raids, things like that. It's very good for bosses that have a high health total, a lot of tank and spank fights. So Lingering Heat is probably pretty good in PvE with bosses that are more tank and spank that you're going to have a lot of uptime on. And then with anything else PvP or PvE related that where you don't have that high uptime, where you're not just constantly hitting someone, Power Burst is going to be way better. It's going to give you more burst. The stacks are going to be great to consume those. So the level 20 choice, very strong for PTs. Lingering Heat, Power Burst, both big DPS increases. So you're getting a pretty good level 27 choice just to start out right at the gate. Level 35 choice kind of continues this for PTs. They get 3 really good choices here. This is going to be hard to determine what you want to take. It's going to be a lot of playstyle. So there's Manhunter, Jet Charge, Reel and Rattle. Manhunter basically gives your grapple 2 charges, and the grapple finishes the cooldown of Rocket Punch. That's such a good gap closer for PTs. It's really good. So it's basically a double. You can basically double pull people. You can basically kill someone with your burst, pull another person in, and burst them again. It's really strong. Plus, it finishes the cooldown of Rocket Punch, so you get more of a burst window because Rocket Punch does do a pretty good amount of damage. Next we have is Jet Charge, another gap closer. I don't think this is actually as good as the grapple. I think the grapple is way better. It's usually better to be able to position someone else than position yourself. If you can get someone out of position, it's better than that. Because Jet Charge you can actually get in trouble with. But it basically does the opposite of what the grapple does. So it's pretty much like the leap from the Force user. So basically you jump in, it allows you to jump into a target, does a little bit of damage, interrupts and immobilizes them for 2 seconds. It cannot be used against targets in cover. Using Jet Charge grants battery ram, which enables Jet Charge to be used again. Increases your movement speed by 30% for 6 seconds. While battery ram is active, Jet Charge has a 10-meter range and deals 50% more damage, but does not cause additional interrupt or immobilization. This effect cannot occur more than once every 15 seconds. It's not that strong. Yeah, it is a gap closer, but given how basically far the grapple is, grapple is way better. Way better to be able to pull someone into your team than you going into a team, if that makes sense. Being able to pull like a Sork into your team is better than you diving that Sork into 4 other people, or 5 other people, or whatever the situation is. And then Reel and Rattle. Grapple deals a moderate amount of damage, tech damage to the pool target, causes your next rocket punch or flame fist to the pool target to deal 20% additional damage. Stun the target for 3 seconds, last 6 seconds. It's okay. I don't think it's as good as Manhunter is. Quite frankly, I think Manhunter is going to be the default choice. Just 2 grapples. You don't have to worry about it with the stun, because generally if you pull someone in, someone else is going to stun that target. You don't have to worry about the stun, and PTs just don't need the additional damage. You just really don't. You already have more than enough damage to do everything you need. So PvP, we're probably taking the Manhunter, the double grapple. PvE, you can make arguments that Jet Charge is definitely going to be better, because in PvE, you can't really pull a lot of enemies. They have a lot of things where you can't pull them, but you can dash to them. So Jet Charge is probably better PvE, but PvP wise, I see Grapple, the 2 grapples, Manhunter being used pretty much exclusively. It's just way better than the other 2. Next thing is we have another strong choice for PTs, and you'll see as we kind of go up the PT ladder, like all of these choices are very strong. As far as power level goes, PT has very top tier power level choices. It's very hard to distinguish between these. So Retracted Refresh, Jugular, and Easy Prey. So Retracted Refresh, when the bleed effect from Retractable Blade is refreshed, you deal an additional damage to 4 targets within 5 meters of their primary target. This is actually very good. It doesn't look that good on paper because you're thinking that PTs don't really need the area of effect, but Retractable Blade is a decent enough bleed that it actually makes sense. So it's actually good, especially since it does additional damage to 4 targets within 5 meters. You're not losing DPS. That's the biggest thing about this. You're not having to change your playstyle. You're just doing additional damage to people around. Probably won't be taken just because of the strength of the other 2, but it's not a terrible choice actually. Jugular is when the bleed effect from Retractable Blade is refreshed, the target takes a small amount of kinetic damage. So whenever you refresh your bleed, the target takes more damage. Straight up DPS increase. We don't know yet exactly how big of damage that's going to be, but it's just a straight up DPS increase, so it's going to be good. The next thing we have is Easy Prey, which is very interesting. So when the Retractable Blade ticks, you gain a stack of Easy Prey. That increases the next damage done by your next initial hit with Retractable Blade by 25%. Stacks up to 4 times. It can only occur once every 3 seconds. This is a big PvE damage increase. This is going to increase your sustained damage by a lot. It puts Retractable Blade into your rotation, and you get stacks of it. So if you stack it up to 4 times, it's going to do a pretty good amount of damage. So PvE, this is going to be the go-to. And then Jugular is probably going to be the go-to, the PvP. As much as I like Retracted Refresh and just kind of the meme ability of it, it actually looks really kind of strong. I just don't think it's strong enough because the other 2 picks, Jugular and Easy Prey, are just that much better. So overall, we're basically going to be taking Jugular for PvP, Easy Prey for PvE. Pretty set standard. Nothing really to discuss there. You could take Retracted Refresh for PvP. I really think it could be good in some situations. It depends on how much additional damage it is, and if that damage is basically able to be critted on, it actually might be really good. It might be pretty funny to see like 4 people just die out of nowhere. If it works the way I think it works. Now it might not work that way. The damage might be pitiful. We don't know yet. But if the damage is good and you do additional damage up to 4 targets within 5 meters of the primary target, that sounds really good, especially when you're hard swapping. Just sounds good. It might be junk though. That's the one I'm kind of iffy about. Jugular we know is good. Easy Prey we know is good. Retracted Refresh is interesting, needs testing. Level 47. We're going to be looking at Advanced Yield, Advanced Shielding, and Stealth Scan. 2 of these are really good. Stealth Scan is garbage. No one's going to pick it. But Advanced Yield, the range of your 10-meter abilities increased by 5 meters. In addition, a Retractable Blade ticks decrease the cooldown of Power Yield by 1 second. This effect can only occur once every 10 seconds. Really good. So you get more ranged, more kiting potential. You also get your cooldown back of Power Yield faster. Overall, really solid. Advanced Shielding is another very solid. So with activating Energy Shield, can't speak. Activating Energy Shield grants Advanced Shielding, This makes your next call to overload heal up to 45% of your health, and your next power yield lasts for 15 seconds. That is strong. That is a big DCD. Like, that is huge. So it's going to be the choice of, do you want better kiting potential or do you want better damage mitigation and healing? Which one's better? It's hard to say. It really is hard to say. Tank healer games, I think advanced yield is going to be better. Just to get the power yields quicker. Advanced shielding is probably going to be better if you're playing solo. Big heal and your power yield lasting longer is probably going to be better than having more of them when you're kind of by yourself without that support of a healer. So it's really going to be a choice. Either one is really good. PvE wise, pretty much always take an advanced yield. PvP, you could take either one, whichever one that you like more. It's just going to be a personal preference thing. You have a healer, probably advanced yield. No healer, advanced shielding. Stealth scan just can't compete. The ability is just so garbage in this tier. It basically gives you the stealth scan ability, reveals stealth enemies on the target for 15 seconds. Any target it reveals is immobilized for 3 seconds. Increases the movement speed of allies within the scan, except for you, by 50%, as long as they remain in the target area for 6 seconds. And after they leave the area. It has a 10-second cooldown. It's garbage. We're not taking stealth scan for the 2 big increases of the other thing, the 2 big defensive. It's just way too low power level to deal with the other 2. So advanced shielding or advanced yield. Like I said, PTs are just getting a lot of tools to do a lot of things. They're really going to be really strong. Next thing we have is level 60. So we have Pyro Shield, Gyroscopic Alignment Jets, and Iron Will. Again, these are strong as well. You kind of see that every single thing in the PT tier, compared to some of the classes we looked at before, are vastly superior. Pyro Shield, Energy Shield deals a small amount of elemental damage to attackers when they deal direct damage to you. Cannot occur more than once every per second, so straight up DPS increase. Really good for duels. Any type you can get a DCD while doing damage to someone, really good for 1v1 potential. If you're looking to 1v1 someone, this is pretty much what you're going to take. In other situations, you'll probably take the other 2. Gyroscopic Alignment Jets, you vent 20 heat when stunned, immobilized, knocked down, or otherwise incapacitated. Additionally, your next attack ability deals 10% additional damage, so basically if you get stunned, knocked down, anything like that, you get more DPS. So your heat's going to go down, and you get 10% increased damage on that. So that stun is not hurting you that much, so not only do you get heat regeneration, you get 10% additional damage. Super strong. Definitely PvP utility. Iron Will, it reduces the cooldown of determination by 30 seconds. That's your CC breaker. And vent heat by 15 seconds. Not as good. It's still strong. If you're someone that knows that you're going to be facing a lot of CC, or if you tend to use your CC breaker early and want to kind of get it back on cooldown to break again, there's some chances that you can do it. But Gyroscopic Alignment Jets is just better overall. Pyro Shield is also a choice if you're going to be in type of 1v1 from any type of 1v1 kind of scenario. If you know you're going to like some weird duel or something, or you're going to be seeking out some 1v1s like with a double grapple. That could be something if you try to pull someone around, away from the team and try to 1v1 them. But overall, you're probably taking Gyroscopic Alignment Jets. And then Iron Will, can be useful in some situations. It just depends. Next, we have level 68 choice. Again, strong choices here. Very strong choices just throughout this tree. Reflective Armor. When close and personal is triggered, it will also deal a small amount of damage to the attacker if the attacker is within 10 meters. So, basically, it just, if someone attacks you within 10 meters, does some damage to them. Pretty simple. Next one is Hitman. Reduces the cooldown of Quell by 2 seconds. Additionally, AoE damage taken is reduced by 30 seconds for AP. Very good. Quell is your interrupt, so you're able to get more interrupts out. AoE damage reduction is going to be huge in 7.0. The cleave specs look just so dominant right now, with Madness just soaring above everything else. And IO is going to be good too. On the Merc side, the Dot Merc is going to be also good. It has a little bit of cleave. But Hitman is going to be strong. Faster interrupt, AoE damage reduction, strong. And then Suppressive Tools also is going to be strong. Magnetic Blast, Flame Burst, and Flame Sweep reduce the movement speed affected by targets by 3 seconds. Additionally, Neuro Dart slows the targets by 50% for 6 seconds. That's going to be strong too. Again, most of the time you're taking Hitman. If there's no AoE in the game, if for whatever reason the AoE specs, there's something that we don't know about, you'll take suppressive tools. But this is pretty much generally going to be a Hitman choice just because of how strong AoE specs are. The next thing we have is our level 73 choice. The level 73 choice is interesting. There's probably one that you're going to be taking, but you can honestly make a case that you don't need hydraulic overrides. We'll talk about it. So we have Shield Cannon, hydraulic overrides, and Electro Dart. Shield Cannon is going to be the weaker of the two. So damaging a target with your shoulder cannon missile shields you for 3% of your total health. That's nothing. The healing's not that big. It doesn't heal you full. 3% is just such a low percentage that we're not going to choose it. The next one is Hydraulic Overrides. Grants the Hydraulic Overrides ability. Increases your movement speed by 75%. Provides immunity from movement impairing effects, knockdown, and physic effects for 10 seconds, 35-second cooldown. That is strong. 75% speed up, and makes it so you can't be knocked back, pushed, all of that good stuff. Very strong. Very, very, very strong. And then we have Electro Dart. So grants Electro Dart ability. So this is our stun, which stuns a target for 4 seconds. Deals a small amount of damage, 45-second cooldown, 10-meter range, costs 5 heat. Now, here's the situation that I can see playing out. Is that CC is so abundantly rare, and a lot of classes are losing CC, that Electro Dart trumps hydraulic overrides. So if you have a double grapple, and you're a PT, your grapple is going to be up a lot. Do you really need hydraulic overrides? What are you closing the distance on? Is the question. What can you not just bring to you? Snipers? Are you going to take it for one class? I just don't see it. I think the double grapple is such an integral choice that having the pull in with the Electro Dart stun and carbonize, it's going to be very strong. I actually see a lot of PTs choosing Electro Dart over hydraulic overrides. It's going to be a playstyle choice for sure. But Electro Dart, just having that CC when CC's not gonna, there's not gonna be a lot of CC in the game, is really gonna be strong. Especially with a double pull, you can basically pull someone in Electro Dart, carbonize like we do now, and then you can pull another person in and kind of repeat the cycle. So I don't know how strong hydraulic overrides are actually going to be in 7.0. They might get passed up in favor of Electro Dart. It's going to be one or the other. Right now, my money is it's going to be really split. It's going to be split based on playstyle. If you have a team with a lot of burst, you're going to be running Electro Dart and the double grapple, the double pull in. If you don't have a lot of burst or you're by yourself, you might be running hydraulic overrides to kite better. It's basically survivability versus burst. It's kind of the choice. Next one we have at level 78. These probably the weaker of the choices. They're still good. They're still solid either way you look at it. So Enhanced Paralytics, Sonic Rebounder, Efficient Suit. Enhanced Paralytics increases the stun duration of Carbonize by 0.5 seconds and Electro Dart by 1 second. More CC is strong. This could definitely be a choice that you run, especially if you're doing the old double grapple burst someone down strategy. We're just trying to pick off individually targets. It's really strong in that kind of thing. Sonic Rebounder is the weakest one. So Sonic Rebounder grants Sonic Missile. Basically, whenever you use your Sonic Missile, grants Sonic Rebounder to all friendly targets within 8 meters of the primary target, except for yourself. Reflects the next direct single target attack back at the attacker. Lasts up to 15 seconds. If this worked on you, it would be really good. If it just worked on you and no one else, this would be super strong. You could do some cool things with Reflect, especially PvP, PT versus PT duels. Using this would add a lot of kind of skill because you could Sonic Missile like a Thermal Detonator or a Cell Burst or, well, Power Burst, whatever they're calling now. You can kind of do that. So that would be cool, but it doesn't work that way. It works for everyone else, so you don't know what you're reflecting, and it doesn't like the Reflect does like double damage or anything, so it's not that strong. Next one is also very strong. Efficient Suit allows Culto Overload to be activated while stunned. Causes Culto Overload to purge stun effects when activated. In addition, the range of grapple and shoulder cannon are increased by 10 meters. Carbonize and Electro Dart no longer generate heat. So it lets you basically get another CC breaker. And grapple and shoulder cannon are increased, and the double grapple combined with this could be really strong. Double grapple also with enhanced paralytics can be really strong. I think efficient suit is going to be the default pick. PTs don't need more time on target when they pull someone in. The normal stun time is usually enough for them to get their burst off. So having a stun breaker where they can break the stun, very strong for them. They won't get bursted down as easy. Because they are going to be a little bit squishier. That's the whole thing. They're going to be a little bit squishier. But they're going to have the tools to kind of kite or just blow people up before that squishiness even comes into play. So again, they'll be strong. The removed abilities, to be honest, they're really not getting touched that hard. Every single one of these removed abilities from PTs are something that just, quite frankly, is just not that big of a deal. So Thermal Sensor Override is when your next ability generates no heat. Effect lasts for 15 seconds, so the next ability you use generates no heat. It's not a game changer at all. Doesn't do anything for PTs. They have to use an extra rail shot in their PvE rotation. For PvP, who cares? We're not really worried about heat in PvP. Guard. So basically, it's a threat drop, and you redirect 50% of all damage back to you, and you deal 50% less damage. PTs aren't using guard right now, anyway. They deal 50% less damage while guarding. Not a big loss for them whatsoever. It's good for other DPS players, but other than that, not a big loss. And then Shatter Slug. It's basically like fires a high impact bolt that instantly explodes on contact with the target, spraying the air with shrapnel shards. It's like an AoE. Again, PTs are not an AoE class. This has never been a thing. There used to be a utility that made this into a slow that was annoying, but other than that, they're not really getting touched with the buoys or getting removed. So they will be very strong. They're strong now. They're going to be very strong, especially with other classes getting weaker. They're just not getting weaker whatsoever. So overall, PTs are going to be a very strong pick. They're going to be a top tier class. Again, it really doesn't matter what else they get. They don't have to have legendary items. Nothing. They would have to change the entire way the tree is structured for them to not to be very strong. It will be the strongest PT spec, that's for sure. It's, again, going to be up in that S tier DPS range. It's going to be one of the top DPS classes in PvP, PvE. So everybody's still playing PT and are hoping that we don't see them anymore. It's not happening. PTs are going to be stupidly strong, just like they are now. They'll be slightly squishier, but in the end, it's not going to matter. They're still keeping all their damage, still keeping all their good utility. That is kind of the overview for PvP and PvE with the advanced prototype spec for 7.0. Everybody have a good